The body knows what it's living for. It always knows what it's living for. It never forgets why it's living. It appears to um, it not understand what it is, representing itself as consciousness. It appears to not know what it is. And the fact is, the body does not know what it is. Because it's what is the word? It is dependent on the mind. Because the body is pure consciousness. And it's like, the tongue doesn't know it's a tongue. The plant doesn't know it's a plant. It knows it exists, but it does not know what it is. So the body is dependent on the mind, as if the mind is an outsider looking in at the body. The mind that the body is one with cannot be outside of the body. So the mind itself does not know what it is. But something has given life within this consciousness to this external mind that thinks it can tell the body and mind what it is. So therefore, that's the mind of information. That's the mind looking inwards at you and your body. You are that pure mind. You can call it spirit, soul, version of consciousness, pure consciousness. You can call it I, the I within consciousness, the axis of consciousness, the stability of consciousness, enshrouded by a moving, essential, sensual body. So this mind has been born external of you. It appears to be external of you. And it's true, because whatever you are cannot identify where this mind is. When it encroaches the brain to try and manipulate it, its focus is on the brain. So it appears that science and neurology and all these incredible spirits and saintly, wondrous beings are half right and half wrong. Half right in the fact that the brain is the target of the mind, but wrong in the sense that it can only target the brain because it feels this head brain is the only brain that it can change. It can give information to. It can advise. The brain that functions, this brain that functions the body, needs no advice on how to function the body. It's a very smart intellectual piece of machinery. It sends neurons and microns and atoms and molecules and messages and nerves and sensory, scientific expressive names to whatever's taking place, and it works the hands quite efficiently without a mind telling it to work the hands, you see. So the external mind, the ego mind, is the one that really wants to be the information provider. But it cannot affect the you, the pure mind and body you, when you've got a defense mechanism against anything that's external. Nature provides a defense mechanism against everything that is external. So the ego is trying to encroach you for the good, to tell you what you are. But the defense mechanism of consciousness is no, it's not that I don't want to know what I am. It's just that I fear for this alien mind and what its real intentions are. And this is what, on YouTube you get speakers about humans being taken over by aliens and reptiles and all that stuff. It's basically a simple fact that consciousness and ego, they don't sit well together, Ego is a part of consciousness. Consciousness does not know what's taking place. Conscious just does not have that mind set to say, is this ego a good guy or a bad guy? No, it just sets up the defense mechanisms, like your body is when it faces a tiger or a crocodile or a snake. Poof, run, let's go. So the ego itself is not, it has to learn to comply with the world of nature, with the world of consciousness, with the world of that what is taking place in itself. And ego, it's like that. You feel sorry for it because it's trying its hardest to try and tell you what you are. It gives you names. It calls you a body. It calls you a person. It calls you a form. It calls you a man. It calls you a sex object. It calls you any name that comes up. Ego has created, invented this name with good intentions. But the idea that when it comes too close, when it starts impacting, because the ego doesn't know when to stop. It doesn't know when to stop. One rich man buys a yacht. He loves the yacht. He wants to buy more yachts. He does not know when to stop. He can only go one yacht at a time. Can only live in one house at a time. But it's 5 mansions. You know, pride, that sinful ego, you see. No deformation towards a rich man, you know, that's just his ego mind. That's the ego mind that impacts so much that the consciousness, the pure mind turns away and just looks at consciousness. And that is when awakening and enlightenment takes place. The pure mind is fighting off this ego mind, not fighting, saying, please, no, if you listen to me, I'll tell you how it's like. We accept that your information is there, but it's not true. We accept that you're trying your hardest, but it's not true. And we allow you to give names and all that stuff, but stop. There has to be a stopping point, you see. And this is where Buddhism comes in. Buddhism says, yeah, accept everything that's going on, but be balanced, you know. Don't look for more of that and less of this. Equal, 50-50. Yeah. So the negotiation between the pure mind and the ego takes place after enlightenment. Because the ego has been defeated, destroyed, annihilated by this shock of consciousness. Some call it God. I call it God. Sometimes I call it consciousness. Sometimes I call it spirit. Sometimes I call it the universe, because the ego wants to give it a name. The ego wants to identify with the enlightened experience. The ego wants to take ownership. It wants to take half of the recognition, half of the credit. And that's when once enlightenment's over, this pure mind gives ego half of the credit. Thank you. You showed this body some real peace, liberation, freedom. You've showed it how vast it is. The one that dwells within this body, this spirit, the soul, the consciousness, the vastness of emptiness that one is. But so the ego appears to be the enemy when it overstays its welcome, over improves the body, over improves the quality of life, over improves the needs and the desires to want more and more and more and more. It's not that ego's doing it intensely. It doesn't know how to stop. Ego has not got the same qualities of the body. The body is absolutely, immaculately tuned in, you know, without vaccines and medication and, you know, all that stuff that we know the body now has learned to be dependent on now, you see. Another one for the ego, you see. Ego says, yeah, get this, I can help you. You're a body. You were born and you're going to die. And ego is looking in the mirror at itself when it's saying that. Because the ego will die. If it doesn't die before the body death, it will die just before the body death. The first thing to go. On that last breath is the ego going, poof, even before last breath. Some, they lie in deep sleep. Some who are in a cancerous state where morphine has been provided, and in the last 3 days there's no recollection of what is going on. The ego's already going away. I'm going away, you know. You bastards. I tried my hardest, you know. And the pure mind saying, it's okay, you know, and then they go away in peace. The pure mind shakes hands, the ego goes off into the universe to seek another victim or another one it wants to help. The pure mind just lies in state with the body and looks after the body on its death, cares for it, makes sure it dies properly and well and efficiently, and sends out signals to those around. You know, this one needs another couple of days, you know, before it faces the furnace, you know, and it all works like synchronicities, you know. Your family want your body to the undertaker wants to cremate it on Tuesday, you know, and something goes wrong and it doesn't get cremated till Thursday. A pandemic comes, or they're overbooked, or something is wrong at the crematorium, and it's all planned, you see. It's all planned. Pure mind makes sure the body is absolutely going in its rightful way. And the ego is somewhere else looking around saying, I did my best, you know, I tried my best. I did my best, you know. Actually, it was okay. And that's what most say before, if they get the opportunity to say farewell to their family. I did my best, you know. Actually, my life was okay. Ego itself reaches this balanced state. This is only the words of the speaker. Please don't be offended by what the speaker says. You know, it's only through experience, self-experience. You'll not understand any word from any other being until the experience unveils itself. The same with anything, you know. Man in the restaurant says, taste this meal I've made. It is the most divine meal. And you go around and you say, oh, the man in the restaurant made this meal. It's so divine. Have you tasted it? No, but he says, you know. Oh, are you not going to taste it? Yes, going to taste it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, you go in. Vomit. You know. Self-experience, that's all that takes place. Namaste.